Bloonarius prime chimps. Start with a sniper as high as you can, but make sure that he can see the bottom exit. Put him on strong, then get a dart in that corner. You want the top part of his range to see the bottom two blades of grass that are moving on that little island. This placement isn't really that precise, so the dart monkey placement isn't that precise, don't worry too much about it. At the end of round 6, get another dart, place it exactly where I do, as high and centered as possible, near the water on the right side. Just hit play. This strat is actually quite fun. I've been wanting to do a Psy energiser strat for a guide for a long time, and this just seemed like the perfect map for it, so here it is. I stole this start from Unescape's channel, by the way. Not really stealing because it's a start after all, but yeah, I stole it from Unescaped. At the end of round 8, get another sniper right below the first sniper. Again, making sure it can see that bottom exit and set it to strong as well. At the end of round 10, get another dart and place it exactly where I do, as high as possible. Make sure that there's a tiny gap on the right side between that little ditch where the track is. This is probably the hardest placement of any of the dart monkey placements, any of the placements on this entire run, so if you're unsure, pause the video and look at that dart placement. I didn't show it in the clip, which is my bad, but just pause the video, look at the placement, because it really is kinda tight. If you did it properly, you'll beat the next few rounds. If you didn't, I think you lose to 14, if I'm not mistaken. During 14, turn off auto start. And at the end of 14, get Psy, place him as high as possible next to that bottom dart monkey. If you place the dart right, there should be enough space for Psy to fit right between the track and the dart. Make sure you set Psy to strong, obviously. And then hit play again. Before 15, get a sub, place it in the top right water. About where I do, the placement isn't really that precise. We're going to get long range on it anyway. But just kind of place it in the middle of that top part of the water. So I should destroy 15. At the end of 15, get longer range on that sub. Very, very important for round 19. At the end of round 16, get another sub. Place it where I do. You want the range of it to go through the left candle of Psy's base plate. The placement isn't really that precise, but it's kinda tight, so just place it where I do. Give it longer range. And then twin guns before 21. You 100% need twin guns to beat 21, so make sure you get it before then. During 23, I recommend that you use Psy stun when you see a few yellows get near him. Not necessary, but recommended, because some bad RNG can occur during 23. At the end of 26, get a heli and place it below Psy, but as close to him as possible, so as high as possible below Psy. Try and be precise with this, it's just going to make things easier later on. And then lock it in place in that little puddle where the balloons teleport to the other side of the map. Usually we would like to discount a heli, but for this run in particular, we need the heli to start shooting for round 27, so we place the heli first. Get full metal jacket on either sniper before round 28, because we can't hit leads quite yet. Then get quad darts on the heli. And then pursuit at the end of round 30. Then faster darts. And faster firing during 32. The great thing about Psy is he can solo round 33. For 36, make sure you set Cider first, before the round. I kind of forgot to, but I managed to clutch it up by slowing it down and setting Cider first, because nobody can shoot the camos except Psy during 36, and they will sneak past if you don't set him to first. After 36, make sure you set him back to strong, obviously. At the end of 38, get a village, place it on the left side of the bottom track, as high as you possibly can. Take your time with the placement, make sure it's as high as possible, because we want the sub to be in range of it. Give it the discount upgrades, then get another village right below it, as right as possible. The heli should be in range of the bottom village like you see here. Then give that bottom village the discount upgrades as well. Then give the top village bigger radius, and that bottom sub should be in range of the top village once you get bigger radius on it. For 39, I recommend you stun when the balloons get close to Psy. Not necessary, but helps to prevent some RNG. Before 40, get Moab shove, and then the Moab gets totally destroyed. During 41, get jungle drums on the top village. Then get an Alk, place it below the heli as low as humanly possible. If you place it right there, it can only target the heli. Give it Berserker Brew, and then Stronger Acid, and Perishing Potions. Before 45, so during 44, get Radar Scanner on the bottom village. We need that for the purple camos that come out on 45. Very, very important, because Psy can't hit those, only the heli pilot can actually hit those purple camos. Get Stronger Stim at the start of 46. Get it as soon as possible, it really does help with 46. And now all we have to do is save up for Comanche defense, which is going to carry us essentially all the way till we get Energizer, which is just another reason that Comanche defense is so good. For $9,000, it's a very, very good mid-game option that has decent late-game usage as well with Moab Shove. Get Comanche defense during round 50. And what you should be doing now is upgrading that bottom sub to a Bloonarius reactor. I kind of forgot to do it because I do that a lot. But here we go. Make sure you get a Bloonarius reactor on it and then submerge it. It doesn't matter if it's submerged or stays up. We don't need it to do any damage. The heli pilot takes care of all of that, so don't need to worry. Just submerge it and leave it like that. And now there's essentially nothing that you need to do from now till we can afford Energizer. If anything gets close, which it shouldn't, but if you get some bad RNG, which can happen, you can use Size abilities. So I will unlock his second ability pretty soon, the early 60s. But you shouldn't have any problems from now on, so I'm going to fast forward till the point that we can afford Energizer. During 71, you should be very close to Energizer. Get it as soon as possible because we want it to start giving Psy that boost ASAP. After Energizer, get a sub in range of the Energizer and also the top village. Very, very important, both of them. And start upgrading it to a 220. So advanced intel with heat tip darts. Get ballistic missile on it when you can. And now we're pretty much set until we afford first strike. The reason we want this sub in range of both the jungle drums and the Energizer is Energizer gives all water towers a 50% ability cooldown, which with first strike leads to some really disgusting damage. Make sure you leave your 230 sub on first. Normally we would put it to strong, but for this map in particular, it's better for Super Ceramics damage. So leave it on first. Get first strike during 79. If 79 gets a bit close due to some bad Alk buff RNG, feel free to use Psy's second ability. If they start going upwards on the right track, I recommend using the ability. You probably won't need it, but sometimes bad Alk buff RNG can happen. Use your first strike, destroy the ZOMG, and look at that cooldown rate, it's extremely, extremely fast. '81, stun when the majority of VFBs are in size range. Don't know if it's necessary, it probably isn't, but because we have such fast cooldowns, you can really use abilities as much or as little as you want to. Use First Strike for 82 because why the hell not? We have such fast cooldowns. First Strike again. And stun as well. '83 can be a little bit sketchy. It's all to do with Alk buff and Comanche RNG. When you see Moabs get to the bottom part of the right path for 83, use the stun. Use Psy second ability. And you can also use First Strike during 83 as well. It doesn't really do that much, but it doesn't hurt. Stun when BFBs get close to Psy for 84. And then use First Strike whenever you want, and Psy second ability if anything gets too far down the track. First Strike again for 85. Take out one ZOMG with that First Strike. Then take out the other with the First Strike. Yeah, First Strike's kinda busted with an Energizer. Like, yes, it requires you to use it properly, but it's really, really good. First Strike again for 86. Stun when the Fort BFBs get close to Psy. And we're about to get preemptive strike, so much less ability usage from now on. But for 87, of course we need it. First Strike to ZOMGs. First Strike again. Get preemptive whenever you can. You should probably stun the ZOMGs. I didn't here, and it doesn't really end up being of any consequence, but you probably should. After you get preemptive, get a glue, place it where I do so we can see the start of the track. Just so that our preemptive can actually shoot the stuff that comes out of the balloon entrance. First Strike again for the ZOMGs on 88. And at this point, Psy can start targeting BFBs, so it's, yeah, kinda over. 89 can get close sometimes, so slow it down. If the Super SRAMs get too far up the track, just use Psy's second ability, they get destroyed. Sometimes that may happen, so I recommend 89 slow as much as possible. But don't worry, that's pretty much the last difficult round of this entire run. Stun for 89 again when the Fort Moabs get near Psy. And then get a glue, place it to the left of the bottom villages. And make it a 3-1-0, so Bloon Dissolver with bigger globs. There's a lot of different ways you can play this endgame. A lot of different ways. But I chose the easiest, most repeatable one, which of course is going to be Bloon Solver. It's not the coolest ending to this, but it's definitely the most reliable. Get Bloon Liquefier, Glue Splatter, and Primary Training on the top village. So a 4-2-0 glue with Primary Training. For 92, use First Strike on the ZOMGs, not the Moabs. Whenever you see a ZOMG, just First Strike, essentially. You can stun as well, I'd recommend that, but not necessary. 93's DDTs stand no chance. I love Preemptive Strike. DDTs just get completely demolished by Preemptive. 94, you can First Strike again for the ZOMGs. Stun when they get near Psy. First Strike again. '95 gets completely destroyed by Preemptive Strike. It one-shots DDTs as they come out of the balloon entrance, which is kinda nice. Interestingly, Energizer does like a decent job of Super Ceramic cleanup. Somehow, some way. I don't know how, but it's not that bad. 96, don't use First Strike too early because we need to use it on the ZOMGs that come out last. First Strike when you see some ZOMGs. And also buy Bloon Solver during 96, I kinda forgot. I get it a bit late, but it's totally fine. First strike whenever you can on 96. And don't worry about Super Cerams getting too far down that track, because Balloon Solver. 97 takes the right track, so make sure you use first strike as soon as possible. Take out one ZOMG, and then take out the other with another first strike. 98, same thing, just more first strikes. You can set your preemptive to strong, by the way, because we have the cleanup in the Balloon Solver now. Stun, use size abilities, it doesn't really matter. Just make sure you kill the ZOMGs with first strike and you're fine. DDTs get mauled on 99. Round 100. Buy size level 20 for $800. First strike. First strike again. The bad pops as it turns upwards. Use size second ability just to flex and kill everything. And that's it, level 20 Psi with an energizer and a preemptive strike. Really, really busted. Hope you enjoyed.